Hello and welcome to Aging Matters. This is a show that is provided by and sponsored by the Berks County Area Agency on Aging. My name is Barlet and I'm the Public Advocacy and Outreach Manager for the agency. Our show today is about Alzheimer's disease, the Alzheimer's Association, and the Alzheimer's Walk. So without further ado, I'll introduce my guest. Today is Larry Kolasensky, and he is the Alzheimer's Walk Manager for Berks, Lehigh Valley, and Schuylkill counties, as well as for the Alzheimer's Association. So thank you, Larry, for being here today. We have a lot of good information to share with everybody.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
Good. One of the things, everybody hears Alzheimer's. Oh, no, and rightfully so, some of us kind of go, oh, I forgot a few things that I'm going to have Alzheimer's and whatnot. I wanted to start with kind of a little bit of a statistic, which I don't normally do to start the show, but I thought it'd be interesting to say the prevalence. So the number of people age 65 and older with Alzheimer's disease is 282,100 people in the state of Pennsylvania, which is actually, the percent is 11.5% is that number of adults over age 65 with Alzheimer's. That's a decent amount. That's a high percent when you start to think about that in terms of what's happening here in Pennsylvania. And so I thought it was a really good time to take the time, particularly with looking at, the National Association, the Alzheimer's Association month, and some of the things happening in under that Alzheimer's Association, whether it be research, development, the walk, and so on. So let's start with basics, Larry, so we can all kind of begin on the same page. We hear Alzheimer's, but I think it's best to tell us, if you will, a little bit about the Alzheimer's disease, and also where that fits. We think we're going to get it, but there's dementia. What is dementia versus Alzheimer's? And then we'll talk a little bit more about that. So first start with that for us.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a common misconception a lot of times, that, any memory loss or things like that could be Alzheimer's, where, it's really not part of the normal aging process. Alzheimer's, it's something that's a progressive brain disease, and something that just typical age-related memory loss is not tied to Alzheimer's necessarily. It is something that, as you mentioned, it impacts 282,000, of our Pennsylvania residents, and also 7 million people across the country, and disproportionately that impacts women, not only with the disease, but as caregivers as well.
And if I may, that was a 2020 statistic.
Absolutely.
So we're in 2024, and we know that we're aging as a state of Pennsylvania even, so I'm sure it's higher.
Absolutely.
At this point in time, and growing, and getting worse.
Absolutely, and it also takes a toll on those not only impacted by the disease, but those families and caregivers that are helping the individuals going through that disease, where many of those caregivers are also dealing with chronic illnesses or things in their life as well. So it not only takes a toll on the individual that is trying to navigate the disease, but their network and their friends and family, can really be directly impacted by it as well.
A lot of the key caregivers are either a spouse and or direct family member or members that are all trying to help piece things together for everybody.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us the difference, or how does dementia relate to Alzheimer's?
If you're trying to say, look at a loved one, of trying to identify if Alzheimer's is going on versus just normal memory loss with aging, that is something where if you see something that's really out of the ordinary, just, misplacing your keys and then finding them an hour later doesn't necessarily mean Alzheimer's is going on. It's something where if you see that something's really out of the ordinary with someone that you're looking at, then what is best to do is to then consult your doctor to really say, hey, I'm seeing these things either with myself that are out of the norm, or something that you're seeing with someone that you're close to. If you see those things that are out of the norm, it would be best to consult your
And
doctor
it's something
at that
usually
point.
that isn't happening overnight. It's not
Exactly.
something that I'm fine today and I can't find a thing tomorrow and I don't know who I am, and there may be something else going on in that circumstance, but this is typically a progressive, gradual happening.
Absolutely.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that dementia is kind of what we'll call a broad umbrella, so that there are a variety of different types, with Alzheimer's disease being one of those.
Right.
Correct?
And that's where, Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, but it's under that large dementia umbrella, and then we have Alzheimer's right under there.
Okie dokie. So we know the statistics. We know, it's possible that some of us may be, I'll say, affected by it instead of afflicted by it. What, I feel like we'll talk a little bit more then as we move to what's happening, but is there anything that we can do to maybe prevent it, stave it off, reduce the progression, maybe? We went back to the stat. Is it going to be, just forget it, I'm going to get it and I don't know when? I could be 70 or I could be 90, but is there something that we know based on what you know with the Alzheimer's Association? Is there some things that we can do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that the research shows is, a lot of those healthy habits, things that are, good for heart health and things like that, like sleep, diet, nutrition, exercise. Those are a lot of those controllable, factors that can help reduce that cognitive decline. And, another thing would be having that social engagement and things that'll challenge your brain, like doing puzzles, reading, learning new things, and staying connected within a community are things that we can see that delay of that cognitive decline. So those are the controllable factors. One thing to remember is it's never too late or never too early to take action. To be able to, no matter what stage someone's at, those factors are things that are somewhat controllable. And we're continuing as an organization to always put that funding towards the research, and seeing those pushes forward of what we can do in terms of research coming down the line, and a lot of the potential treatment options right now are for early onset Alzheimer's, but we continue to push forward to one day find that cure. I mean, that's our organization. At the core of our organization is to get that cure.
And I like the way you said, the controllable factors. I think some of it is the choices that we make. I can choose to get up and move a little bit more than I am. We can all do that. We can move, whether that movement is from my chair, in my, in a hallway in an apartment building, back and forth a couple times, maybe walking outside on nice days with nice weather, meeting with people. So if you meet with people, you hit the socialization, the connectivity, as well as the healthy walk. We've got a lot in our community here that promote that health and wellness with exercise classes and walks and education to help us understand what are better choices, whether it be in nutrition, better eating, foods that we choose that are healthier, which meaning not clogging things up, which might lead to other strokes and heart issues, and just having some educational opportunities, using that brain, connecting with each other. I think is I want to say easy to do, and yet we don't. And I think if we just keep that in mind, that's a good way to keep moving. I just have to do a sidebar here. Our agency has an annual centenarian luncheon, and that is where we honor people who are 100 years of age and older, and or who will be 100 in that current year. And we just had it a few weeks ago. And we've had people that are just 100, and we have a lady that will be 110 in December of this year. And some of the commonalities, if you ask them, was to keep moving. They just kept moving. So I guess there's some truth to that in terms of at least being healthier, and hopefully that being healthier will contribute to that prevention or progression, limiting that to not hopefully progress so much that we are maybe incapacitated through the Alzheimer's disease. So I would like to move a little bit. I know that we are having a walk coming up, the Alzheimer's Walk to End Alzheimer's Disease through the Alzheimer's Association, and you're our Berks County coordinator.
That's
So
right.
tell us a little bit about the walk.
Yes, I mean the walk is a wonderful celebration of those that are impacted by the disease to come together as a community and to also spread that awareness of the Alzheimer's disease and to really do a large event that brings the entire community together. So we have various sponsors throughout our community that take part in either making the day fun or giving out information to those that are in attendance for the walk that day. Obviously, getting out, being physically active. The route that we do for the walk is about 2 miles.
Oh, okay.
It's over at the Heritage Center, the Berks County Heritage Center over by the airport. So it's a beautiful location. We also have our Promise Garden ceremony, which is something that
So tell us a little bit about that. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's really impactful, where we have individuals that are at various stages with the disease, or if they're impacted in their life. So we have different colors with the flowers. So there's blue, which is if someone is currently living with Alzheimer's.
Okay.
We have a yellow flower, which is if someone is a caregiver for someone living with Alzheimer's. We have purple, and that would be if someone has lost a loved one or someone that they know
Okay.
to the disease. And then we have orange, which is just general support and just being passionate about the cause, even if you didn't have necessarily a direct connection there. And then we have our big one, which is the white flower, which it stands for a cure and that hope for that one day to have that first person that survives Alzheimer's.
So you have all of these people who are at the walk, get this flower to
Yeah.
signify their role or their relationship. And you said you have a ceremony then?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So we have representatives for each color of the flowers,
Okay.
and we work with them for what they would like to be said on that day, and it's something that you don't see a lot of dry eyes in the crowd when you see someone that has that direct connection to the disease and what it means for them to be a part of the community, to be a part of the walk, and to just feel that support around them. To have the cheers, to have the hugs, to have that compassion, that genuine empathy is something that is very moving. And for me personally, my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 3 years ago, so we just had our Schuylkill walk a couple weeks ago in the Lehigh Valley walk, and seeing that ceremony in action is something that deeply touched me. And when you look around the crowd, it's just so wonderful to see all the emotion and the connection within the community.
And so that kicks off the walk. That's kind of like the opening, as it were. Okay.
Yeah. So we kick
All
it
right.
off, and then we start the walk. Everyone walks together. We have as everyone then comes and finishes, we have a thank you brigade that kind of celebrates. We have some cowbells.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a big loop, I assume.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can walk really, I know people are walking as teams and groups, so those that haven't formed a team yet, you may want to share a little bit about if there's a group, who can be a team?
Yeah. I mean, really anyone can be a team, and you could go on the website for the walk, and you can register as an individual. You can also join an existing team, or
okay.
you can start a team yourself. You don't have to be an organization. You don't have to be a business.
It could be
anyone.
the neighborhood around the corner, our block neighborhood, if you want to do it that way, or a troop. A scout troop perhaps, or a church group, or a business group, or just a group of friends, or people who are involved, maybe even in whether it's have been caregivers or caregiving or understand that, could decide to just get together and form a group.
Absolutely.
Or join one that exists there. So let's talk about that day, I guess, or do I need to register that group? Do I need to as a single person? How do I join a group?
Yeah, so I mean, you just go on the website, which we have the event details that
Do you
will
want
be
to put that up
shared.
now? Should we put
Yeah.
up that? Can we put up the event details sheet and we can talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's the if even if you just Google Berks Walk to End Alzheimer's, it comes right up there. You know, you'll see right on the main page there, register, and it gives you the options whether you want to register as an individual, as a team,
Oh, okay.
or you know, if you want to join an existing team. And we also do register day of as well. So if you don't get a chance to register ahead of time, no
I
worries.
can walk there, walk right in and
Yep.
say, here I am.
Yeah, we help you if you want to do it right on your phone, or if you
Okay.
you know don't want to do that and you want to do a paper registration, we will get you all set up.
Okay, good. I want to review again that the walk is Saturday, October 19th. Tell us the registration. It says on my little cheat sheet here, 8:30, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And then that garden ceremony begins at 9:30.
That's
and
right.
then the walk soon thereafter.
Yeah, it starts
Okay.
you know between quarter of 10 o'clock, somewhere in
Okay.
that range. And you know, one thing I will shout out here as well is if you know, we're always looking for volunteers day of
Okay.
the event.
Oh, all right.
You know, we have volunteers showing up, you know, 6:30 on. To help with setup, and you know, we'll be there bright and early to get you know everything settled. So if there's anyone that has any interest in you know volunteering for that day of, you know, my contact information is there as well.
So tell us that. They would contact you directly
Yep.
if they want to volunteer to help. How do I reach you?
So on the screen there will be my my email and
Which
phone number.
is? Tell us
so
what
my
that is.
my email is lbkolASENSKY@alz.org,
Okey
or you
dokey.
can reach me over the phone at 215-399-9219.
All righty. And or they can call me at our agency, the Area Agency on Aging, at 610-478-6500. Ask for Ann and I'll help you to get that contact information if you didn't get it down while Harry was just saying it. So I'm going to repeat one more time. It's Saturday the 19th for the Walk to End Alzheimer's Walk for here in Berks County. It is the Berks County Heritage Center, and that specific address is 1102 Red Bridge Road, Reading 19605. You can go on the website and just see if there are groups, not groups, register online, volunteer, go that day and sign in, walk with a group of people, you know, join others that are walking, because it's a big group of people. I don't think anybody minds if you join any particular group, right?
Absolutely.
Now, is there a registration fee or any kind of fee to do this?
No, there's no fee. Obviously, you know, donations are always welcome on individual and team pages. You know, with this walk, our target for fundraising is $115,000,
Okay.
and currently we're at about $50,000,
Okay.
so almost halfway there. And you know, we currently have about a little over 200 participants, you know, registered for the walk. So we're looking to continue to grow that, and we always see those numbers spike up as we get closer. You know, we should have well over 300 people out of 400 people being able to take part in the walk that day. And, you know, we're continuing to see those fundraising efforts and, you know, last minute sponsorships that come in to continue pushing our cause forward.
So in staying with that, so certainly it would help if somebody wishes to make a donation that day, or any time they can make the donation to the Alzheimer's Association to help move its mission and its goals along. So let's talk about the mission, and then a little bit, you know, I guess kind of as that mission of the Alzheimer's Association relates to, you know, what are you doing then with that money? In other words, as you mentioned, you said research in there. What else are they doing? So tell us first about the mission. Is the mission to, you know, wipe out, to cure, to what?
Yeah, I mean, it is to find that cure to
Okay.
Alzheimer's. I mean, that's what drives myself and drives so many of my colleagues. You know, we also provide that care and support. We have support groups
Okay.
throughout our chapter, throughout the nation, to be able to provide support to those that are currently, dealing with Alzheimer's themselves or those caregivers and support groups. We have those, all throughout the area. We also have virtual ones, so we have in-person ones,
Nice.
virtual ones. We do education programs where we'll work with community partners to be able to spread awareness of, various topics on the disease, to get resources out there to those that really need it. And that's one of the things is when, yourself or a loved one is dealing with the disease, not having answers and not having direction, getting the resources to those that need it is something that consistently drives us forward, and is a main focus for us. And like you said before, that research component is a large piece of what we continue to push forward to one day find that cure. I mean, that's our ultimate goal, and each step that we take, and with the funding that we raise is going towards all of those efforts.
Well, and I think it's great that you're offering the education, probably some direction, counseling, some resources, and those support groups. I can imagine that it's difficult if you are the caregiver to know which way to turn, which do you do, how do you help, how do you learn about that disease and its the way it manifests in people that is different. So what can you expect even as it might progress? And then I think, having that, as you said, that support. We talked earlier about the connectivity. So don't isolate yourself thinking, I don't know what to do. It's only me. We don't know. No, please reach out. I think that's so important to hear from others. They can give you some of their experiences and the things that worked or didn't work for them. Maybe try it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work. But I think that connection has to help people too. So I think it's great that you're offering the support groups, the education at the same time. It's supporting while they've got it and still working for let's not have it.
Absolutely.
So can you talk a little bit, we have a little bit of time for either anything more significant in the research or any things that you can highlight that the Alzheimer's Association has done in terms of studies or looking ahead?
Yeah, well, one thing I would like to highlight based on, what you were saying there of having those resources available is, we do have our 24/7 helpline as well.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
That's not only something that, having those support groups in place are wonderful, but if someone is really feeling like they need that help in the moment or they're in a, more of a crisis type situation, we have our 24/7 helpline, which is 800-272-3900.
Great.
And that connects individuals with professionals that will help direct them in those moments of need.
Terrific. Okay.
And also at our website, alz.org, where you can find those resources for the support groups and be able to, we have the helpline number there as well, and research studies, news, things like that, whatever you would need are all on the website. And a lot of what we are doing in terms of pushing that research forward, some of the initiatives that we've been a part of is the U.S. Pointer Study, which examined how lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, things like that, impact those health-related things. New Ideas Study, which is focused more on those PET scans and brain imaging.
And that can kind of tell us what's happening and where we are, or what is that kind
focuses on like the amyloids,
Yeah.
To be able to improve diagnostics and accuracy with that as well. And they really help to continue to improve the quality of care and to be able to identify that early detection to see if there's any lifestyle things that someone can do, what steps they can take forward. The earlier it's found and diagnosed, the better of a game plan you could come up with for yourself and for the support and family as well.
Things that you can do, research, planning ahead. We see all kinds of things on TV with what they're trying to do and looking at the brain and some trials. And so I think that we're really hopefully making some good strides, still pushing, pursuing. I know it does take funds, obviously, so we do want to raise those monies, and one way is through the walk. but feel free to contribute. I'm sure the Alzheimer's Association will take it anytime, year round. I also think that we should mention as some advocacy opportunities that we can also kind of promote and make people aware, just as individuals, that these things exist. But I think I would like you to share a new recent legislation that's coming down that I think it's great because it affects our Department of Aging at the state level. Why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, I mean, this year Pennsylvania's state budget had it included $1.9 million to create an Alzheimer's and related disorders ADRD office within the Department of Aging, and that's a major step forward to be able to have that direct agency in there, and we want to make sure that it remains permanent. So that's there's currently in the Senate Bill 840 and House Bill 2400. So these bills not only secure the office, but are able to establish an advisory committee to update the state plan every 5 years. So that's something where we want to keep that legislation moving forward, and passing this is definitely crucial. And if anyone does want to, advocate for that, reaching out to your state legislatures is a great step.
Okay.
And, also if, anyone that's listening would want to be involved at all in advocacy, they can reach me at the contact information I provided earlier.
Okay.
And we're always looking for advocates that are passionate about the cause. And, I had the pleasure back in May, we had our state advocacy day in Harrisburg, and I was able to be with over 100 volunteers that were so passionate about the cause and to help continue to move the mission forward. So we need all the support we can get.
Absolutely. Good.
Every little
I'm glad
bit
you could
counts.
share that. I think it's wonderful that the state has dedicated that office within the Department of Aging, as we know that it's necessary, and we need to be able to have some formulation to be able to budget for that and to be able to help do some things for Alzheimer's disease.
Absolutely.
We have about 2 minutes, so let's make sure that we know that Alzheimer's Association. You can find it information at the website alz.org. That'll give you all kinds of general information, as you said, support groups, also about the walk. So the walk to end Alzheimer's here in Berks County is on Saturday, October 19th. The registration begins at 8:30 with a garden ceremony at 9:30 a.m. And then the walk to follow. You can join everyone for the walk at the Berks County Heritage Center, 1102 Red Bridge Road. If you don't know where that is, please feel free to give me a call. You can also contact Larry, and I'll give his information again. It is B as in boy, KOLSASENSKY, or call me at alz.org for any details, information. Come that day, sign in and walk, or also add your volunteer time and certainly your donations to help support the Alzheimer's Association and their endeavors and their mission with regards to the cure and research and awareness for those that are dealing with it. 1 minute, Larry, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, I just, wonderful connecting here today, and, I'm just really looking forward to, the 19th, being able to connect with the community here, such a passionate community that we have here in Berks, and, anyone that wants to come out, for an inspirational morning, to be able to, either learn more about the disease, to connect with how you've been impacted directly, like I said myself, with my mom having Alzheimer's, is something that it's a very emotional day, but also an uplifting day where we can come together as a community, and we'd love to see you there, and it'll be a great time.
Good. Well, thank you, Larry, for being my guest. And please, if you have any more questions or need more information, you can call me, Ann Barlet, at the Berks County Area Agency on Aging at 610-478-6500. And thanks for tuning in to Aging Matters.